honestly, being real, the one that I hated the most was like the big heavy guy, and he was just talking across the street, and they just basically ran up on him like he was in gang formation, and they
Oh
was
yeah,
like, that one pissed me off.
yeah, me too. I mean, all of them did. Yeah, yeah, and that horse one. I believe that you have to train a horse to make it run over people. That's what I was told when I was like taking part in that one little sheriff program.
Mm.
Yeah, the people who work with the horses. I forgot what they're called, but those people were telling me, you got to train a horse to make it run over somebody, because that's something that they don't naturally do. They'll normally, they'll just get out the way, or like they won't run over you, they won't trample you, they'll go around you. But yeah, that was ridiculous because it was like no reason for him to do that.
Yeah, that's uh, it's just uh, pretty much that's all I can really even cop out of that. I really hope
But
that at the end of all this, they take that footage
mm-hmm.
and they don't just say, hey, they were in the line of duty and they were able to just do that and get away with it because it's like it was a gray area and we could all just get away with it. I
Mm-hmm.
want them to have some justice for that. If they can recognize who the cop is on the thing, I feel like they need to be penalized for it because nah, I think we all know that that shit just ain't right. I don't care, I don't care what they say. Like, what if the context was something else? When you see what was going on there, it don't like there was no context prior to that. Them niggas was just wrong. Them niggas was all wrong.
Yeah, yeah. All that shit was fucked up. It was. I don't think it was a single thing on that whole video where I was like, okay, the cops were in the right on this one. Nah, dude. All they were doing was fucked up shit.
Yeah.
It's like, uh, or you mentioned earlier on the other one we were recording that that question of like, I think you said like, should I hit if this motherfucker hits me? Should I hit him back? Like speaking of the cops, and it's man watching that video that makes me go, yeah, like that's the only option. So I'm not
Yeah.
about to. It's not. Nobody has a right to like fucking shoot me in the face with rubber bullets or fucking grenade canisters or fucking there are rubber bullets and there's something else too that they shoot. I can't remember what the fuck it's called.
Those flashbangs.
The flash grenades or whatever. Yeah, that too. And it was some yellow thing they were shooting. Because I think I read that DPD doesn't use rubber bullets; they use something else. But like, regardless, I mean, if I'm just fucking walking, if I ain't got a weapon in my hand, if I'm not charging at nobody trying to attack them, like, how the fuck does a cop have the right to like hit me with a baton or some other shit like that? I'm like, nah, dude, it's time to fight. You're just another human being. It's
I'm
like
glad
they're
they
it's
didn't
like they're
fucking.
another gang. They're just another. I mean, right? Not all of them. Not every single cop, but like all the motherfuckers who doing that fucked up shit, that aggravated shit, where it's like you didn't have to do that to that person. Like them and the people who are just sitting down watching it, the other cops who are just sitting down watching it like it's okay and not going over there and going, hey, you can't do that. That's fucked up. I'm gonna report your ass. It feels like that's a gang now. I mean, honestly, it feels like the
Wait, are you
whole
saying gang or game?
no gang, like gang
Okay,
gang.
okay.
Yeah, like that stupid shit. Yeah, it's crazy though. It's like I don't know about you, but to me, this feel like damn, like uh, it's looters out there, of course, and you got your protesters, and some of them looters is just some of them looters are just gang members or you know, uh, fucking well the niggas basically, and not I don't mean that in no nice way. Some of them is niggas and whatever, and some of them is white people and whatever. But
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
it feels like yeah, because it's definitely not just niggas out there rioting and setting shit on fire and all that. It's most of the shit I've seen has been mostly white people. Not to say that like, hey, this is the white people doing everything, but just the fact that like, damn, they're really out here in these. Is every protest I look at is mainly white people. It look like, or just people who aren't black. But which I think is a
I
good
know
thing
I've seen
for
my
them to be
share
out
of
there
both.
too. But
I've seen my share of both. I know like the other thing was like Twitter feeds because people were basically voicing their desire to loot on Twitter a lot. There was like this one black girl who was basically saying, "Hey, I need to shoot something. I got to get my Gucci something to support my people." You know,
yeah, just
it was
idiots, just
yeah.
stupid people. But I mean,
It
but like it, obviously, most of the people out there protesting, they're just chill as fuck. They're just out there walking around. That's who I'm talking about. The cops beating on. Like, not to say that it's right for them to do certain things to the looters. I don't think you should like, oh, that motherfucker's he's stealing a backpack from the Louis Vuitton store. Shoot him. Like, I think that's that's fucking crazy to me. That's ridiculous. And I haven't seen that. I haven't seen no shit like that where people are getting shot with like straight, lethal rounds, like straight up bullets. I haven't seen that happen. But nah,
but
what was
shit,
I
the shit
saying?
that's happening
But
is still it's
but yeah,
still
the shit is still fucked up because it's just people walking around and they're getting pepper sprayed and all this shit. I'm like, that's just those police are just basically another gang. So now I got to worry about niggas and I got to worry about the police. I mean, not
yep.
like I never didn't worry about the police, but for the most part, it was like as long as I don't hang around or as long as I'm not around the police officers, I'll be fine. It's not necessarily like gonna be the end of my life. I wasn't thinking like I was thinking I always think when I see a cop like, this shit could go wrong. I could get like Rodney Kinged up in this bitch if I don't like play my cards right. And I know I'm expecting lesser treatment, for sure. But now I'm like, man, motherfuckers can just choke you to death. And I always thought of that as being like you're really unlucky if that happens if you're black and that happens to you. But like now it's kind of like I'm like, man, that could like I knew it could happen to me before, but now I'm thinking like maybe if my chance of that happening to me was like 1 in 10, now I'm like that shit is like this shit this shit looking like a 1 in fucking 3 now. I don't know what the fuck kind of cop I'm gonna be dealing with, you know?
Yep.
And honestly, not to I hope this saying this don't come back and bite me in the ass, but it is what it is. I'm not ever gonna like if I'm not doing something wrong, if I'm not hurting nobody, if I'm not like fighting somebody or like doing some evil, heinous shit. If I'm just walking around, I'm not gonna let a cop fucking get in my face and punch me or attack me or fucking choke me out or sick a dog on me. I'm not like fuck that. Like I'd rather fucking fight back and get killed than fucking sit there, not do anything, get my ass be possibly killed, and then fucking thrown in jail, a rape factory. I don't even think I should call it jail or prison anymore. Like I'm gonna start calling it Rape Factory Junior and Rape Factory adult version or fucking all grown
Wait,
up because that's what a prison and jail
is
are.
rape really that bad in jail?
It's bad enough for you to not want to be in that bitch. it ain't it ain't like you go in. I'm pretty sure it ain't like you go in and it's like somebody's at the front door like, okay, line up. We're gonna get you guys partnered with your rape partners. Here's who's gonna rape you. It ain't like that, I'm sure. But like you don't know going in if you're gonna nobody walked in knowing, oh, I'm definitely not gonna get raped. How many people for the number of rapes that happen and also consider this, uh, how many people in prison or jail are gonna go and be like, hey, security guard of this jail I'm in or prison, I got raped and I just needed to tell somebody. Can you report that to me? Can you report that for me? Can you go snitch? It was this guy right over here. Ain't nobody doing that shit. Like, you do that shit in prison, you might get your ass killed. Like so. I know these numbers are high because it's too. it's just it's too out there as a thing in our society for that to be like fake. That ain't fake. Ain't no fucking way. And I know you're not saying that, but I'm like, I do hear people like make it sound like jail and prison ain't. Oh, it ain't that bad. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I'd never want to be in a place where like, oh man, I might have to fight off 5 people and possibly get raped today. Ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait until I get to go back to my cell.
Well,
My,
I know that
it's
it
just
appears to be different from, of course, jail and prison. Prison, you see a spike in it happening there, but actual like just jail, you going down to fucking what's that, Lulu, as they like to call it.
yeah,
Um, it's yeah, it's really looked down upon. Well, and supposedly it's looked down upon in prison as well. But
yeah. I hear
I know
that too.
that's where it spikes the most. Because when you're in Lou, it's just more like the tank situation where you're there for a little bit,
Well, not
or I mean, if you're there for a while,
yeah,
it's not, it doesn't necessarily happen as much there.
yeah, but still, I mean, think about the like it happens enough for people to be worried about it, you know? And not to mention, fucking, if you see the way they treat people in jail and prison, like having to fucking get butt naked, spread your cheeks, lay on the fucking floor, kind of shit. That's so
Hmm.
fucking dehumanizing. And like, I was watching this, little documentary or whatever yesterday. It was called 13. I think it was called 13 or 13th. But anyway, yeah, I was watching that shit and man, it was like they were talking about it's basically about the prison system, our law enforcement system, how it's fucked up, how like a lot of our leaders got killed, and it just kind of goes over generally everything dealing with law enforcement, or for the most part, and it was talking about how like what was his name? Was it Fred Hampton, the black guy from Chicago? I think he was the leader of the Black Panthers. Fred Hampton.
I'm not familiar with that leader of the Black Panther. I'm familiar with Huey Newton.
Yeah, but anyhow, it talked about a bunch of shit, and man, it made me think about like, damn man, I always think about how people say with the protests and all this shit going on, people are like, when you look back at history and you be like, damn, why didn't they do anything? Like history is occurring right now, and you're on the couch or some shit like that, that kind of thing. Uh, and
I can see that.
yeah, I always think about that, and I always think about especially in today's time. And I always think about how how I don't know if I haven't heard anybody say this in a while. I mean, it was mostly something I would hear in school, but I'll be well. Maybe it's because I'm not around. I'm not in a majority black neighborhood anymore. But I hear people say, damn, I don't know how people went for that slavery thing. Like I wouldn't have been able to do that. They would have had to kill me. And I kind of think about current era, current day, and the prison industry. And I think
Hmm.
there's so many fucking black men in jail, like uh, such a fucking large amount, going to jail and prison that I'm like, as especially for prison, I'm like, how do you, knowing what you did, knowing if you committed a crime or whatever, if you live in that kind of life, just how did you go from being a hardcore gangster or whoever you were before then, when they caught you with the drugs and the guns, to the guy who was like, I don't mind being in a fucking cell for like the rest of my life. I don't mind being in fucking chains essentially for the next 40, 50, 60, 70 years.
Hmm.
Like, I kind of think of it and it's like, it's the same thing. It's slavery still. It's like they show it in that movie too. They actually pull up the Constitution or some shit and they show it. But I always thought about that. I never knew that was like it was worded like that in the Constitution too. But like there you're if you're a prisoner, you're basically a slave, dude. I mean, you're locked up in a fucking cage. They do have work that you do. I mean, you'll either get paid nothing. I don't know if you get paid nothing at all. I think you always get paid something. I want to assume you get paid something, but
It's reduced as fuck though. Like
it'll be
it's almost
like
like
5 cents an hour or some shit like that,
some yeah.
But like it's slavery. It's slavery. It's modern day slavery, and it's just so crazy because you could be doing some simple shit like, oh, I ate this fucking mushroom, and I got half that mushroom, and somebody recorded me eating that mushroom. Now I'm gonna go to jail or prison for having this substance. I didn't hurt nobody. I didn't kill nobody. I didn't destroy anything. But now I'm gonna go to fucking prison, and and somebody's gonna profit from me going to prison, even though I didn't do anything, and then I lose all
Do
my
you
freedom.
feel
It's like it's
do you
slavery.
feel like it needs to be designed in a way where it's more of a rehab then?
Uh, I don't think the issue is the design of or I should say I do think the issue of how the jails work, how jails and prisons work in America. That's a major issue. Like they don't you go in for that simple weed charge, all you did was smoke weed, but then you go in there and you were with fucking hardened criminals, nothing but fucking warriors in there. Uh well, not I shouldn't say nothing but warriors. None but and when
Booty
I say
warriors.
warriors, I mean like people who yeah, booty warriors. Yeah. It's fucking a place with fucking killers, murders, people who would slit your throat for a fucking $100 kind of deal. And you're dealing with these kind of people, and all you did was you just smoked some weed, or you just ate this plant, you just ate a mushroom, you just said, "Oh man, I watched the Joe Rogan show and he talked about DMT. I'm gonna go buy some DMT." Uh-oh, that was an informant. Now I gotta go to jail. Now I gotta go to prison. And you're around these fucking hardened criminals, and by the time you get out, you're not gonna be the same fucking person after being in there for who knows how fucking long. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna be a criminal for real after that shit. You're gonna be have a fucking you're gonna have some fucking gangster blood flowing through your veins, man. Like especially if you go to prison, because there are states where you can still there are situations where you can have some marijuana and go to prison. Still, even though it's like legal in a few states, which is it's crazy the way that
I
that
think
system works. It's fucking
I like
nuts.
the idea though of like when people go into jail, basically you're taking away the whole concept of jail and you're actually helping people, like for like you're rehabilitating them. I forgot what country it is, but they basically don't make it like it's some fucking
Oh,
shithole.
Norway?
Some
I believe it's Norway.
uh, I, I don't know,
They
but
got video
it
games
sounds
and
like some
shit,
shit.
and it's like you're in an apartment.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking
and you're
about.
actually there focusing in on like the fucking problem you got. Like if you went in for a drug problem, well, okay, let's let's get this person off drugs. Let's see why they even fucking went to drugs and switched to drugs to begin with. Because sometimes you have fucking veterans who just have like they got back over here, the system did them wrong, they fucking got on drugs, they got caught, and next thing you know, they're in jail for some bullshit. Or my other favorite is people who violate their probation. They get some probation as a kid because maybe they were a runaway, and they're like, okay, well, you're in the system now, and they do some little shit, and then like their life is fucked up because they just had a bad pair of cards and they failed to those damn cards that were bad, and now they're out from juvenile or something, and now they're like on probation or some bullshit, and they do something like I don't know, accidentally hang out with the wrong crowd or someone that's smoking marijuana, and yeah, of course, I know you could say the whole statement of, hey man, you knew what you had to do, so you fucked up. But I don't think the answer to that shit should be okay. Now you got to do 20 plus years because you fucking violated your probation or some shit like that. Like the system's too fucking like just I don't know. It's I don't know. It's not. I want to say it's not forgiving because I know there are some crimes. It's like yeah, okay, your ass needs to be sitting in jail since you fucking raped a billion people. No, you should be dead if you rape a billion people. But the point is, um, like, no, it should not just be toss this motherfucker into some gray walls, put their ass on timeout and in harsh conditions and think that's gonna change them. It ain't gonna change them. That's gonna make them come out and be like, all right, well, either A, I gotta be a hard ass motherfucker to survive in life, or I got to figure out how I can sneak and do the shit that I used to do without getting in trouble, or just for the innocent motherfucker that just like had a simple violation. It's just like, yo, my whole life is fucking gone. All my opportunities out the way because the system is kind of stupid.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's like I know a guy who, when he was a kid, when he was like on the verge of, like, let's just say he was like, let's just say he had just turned 18, right? Ran away from home, and for the sake of that person's identity, I'll just say, let's say they ran away from home, they went to Mexico. Well, no, let's say they went to Canada. Because they went across, they went to a different country, right? And
Hmm.
they like, let's say they stole a golf cart, right? And they drove that golf cart back over the border and and back into the United States, right? And they got
Hmm.
caught with it. They got caught with the vehicle, and basically that made them a felon. That was a felony because they drove it over line. Matter of fact, let's say that he didn't steal it. He just got in it because his friend had it, right? His
Hmm.
friend had it, and like he was like, "Hey, look at this, bro! Look what I got!" And he's like, "Where you get that from?" "Oh, I just bought it. This guy let me borrow it. My cousin let me borrow it or something, right?"
Yeah.
Drives them over the border. They both get arrested. They both get a felony for that, and then they got that
Mm.
felony mark throughout the rest of their lives. And because they have that felony mark, they can't get a regular job, and they have that on their record. They have to do more illegal shit to pay the bills, and then they just get involved in the criminal lifestyle. Like that's bullshit.
I will say because th- one of the one of the things because I'm trying not to like say people's names because it's one of those situations where definitely when you're dealing with people who have been in and out of the system, last thing you want to do is put their business out on the street or some shit. But like there are opportunities. I don't know all of them, but I do know one of the cool things is there's always an opportunity, and you learn that after you do some research. But like freaking what's that shit called? Waffle House. Waffle House hires felons. They hire felons. Like it's known, and it's like it's cool because that means it's like there's somebody out there still trying to give opportunities to people, even when like life is basically shat on their hand and said, "Hey, fuck you, you ain't playing this game. You gonna sit there and just be the fucking table where they play the game." I don't know. I'm fucking making an extended metaphor, but
Yeah.
there's it's like it's the fact that there's still options. Like I know it's hard for people to like want to have the energy. For instance, there was someone I knew, um, basically constantly telling this person that they needed to, go out there and apply themselves and get a job, but they didn't want to do it, and it's like there's like so many factors involved in it. So it's like you can't blame them, but you can blame them for not wanting to put forth the exact energy to do it. Because stuffing opportunities in their face and they don't want to take them, that's still up to them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like the system kind of just rejects them. The individual I'm talking about, like it's they they'll put you on drugs. Like say if you have something wrong with you, like say if you have like maybe you're bipolar, maybe you're schizophrenic, and that illness basically gets you in trouble to a point where now you're in jail for something because you reacted incorrectly with an officer because of your meds or something. Um, yeah, they could send you to a crazy home, or you could just be in jail. Because I know some people when they go down to loose stare, they get sent in there and they just get put in jail for holding, and they wait till their trial comes around, which could be like a whole nother year,
Mm-hmm.
and they just sitting in there waiting for their shit to go down, and just for them to get across in front of the judge sometimes, and it turns to okay, so this is what you did, and it was because of this reason, maybe because you were sick in the head a little bit, and they just say okay, well you need to do your drugs, or you basically got to take your meds, and you need to go see this place, this little facility that just basically checks in. You check in there, you sit in a circle, and you talk about what's wrong with you, and it's not really something that's like hardcore applying to you. It's just like you just going to. follow some checklist so you can get off of having to be in jail. Not to mention the fines and shit you
Yeah.
gotta pay for going in there. Like
Yeah,
it's just
and you don't get
bullshit.
that time
Like
back. You don't get that time out of your life back. You don't get that year
you
you
don't.
spent waiting for trial or 6 months or however long it was. Yeah, you're right.
Because motherfuckers don't have money for lawyers. It just be like, all right, well, if I ain't got that, all the best that I can really do is just kind of just sit here. Like, yeah, that's the thing. If you don't have a lawyer on your shit, like someone that's paid for that lawyer outside of them, it ain't no telling how long you'll be there. Like that shit there is just. That's why the fucking option for everybody's just like, hey man, if you can stay out of jail, keep your bitch ass out of jail. You ain't ready for that shit. Yeah.
Shit, man. It's I don't know. This is just shit is getting so crazy. And it's not like any of this is new shit. But well, except for the fact that these like that police are just well, nah, that's not new either. Except for the fact that these riots are everywhere and that the weird time that America is going through, none of this is new. Because even the police beating a fuck ton of people and everybody not saying nothing about it, everybody being kind of cool with it, that's not new either. It's just that it's everywhere now simultaneously. Cause yeah, that's been there. That's not the first time they've done that, but it's just crazy. And
Well,
now it's recorded,
that makes me
and
think
it's recorded
of
for from like so many different angles and so from so many different people. It's just something else, dude. Strange
well,
times.
it makes me because I don't know about the repercussions of the basically the Civil War protests with Martin Luther King when they was basically spraying everybody with water and
Wait,
shit.
Civil
I
War?
don't know. Not God damn. um,
Oh wait.
I thought I said civil rights. I could have
Oh,
sworn I said civil
oh,
rights.
no, you said Civil War, and I was like, wait a sec, where is this going?
Civil rights.
Okay.
But the civil rights movement, when the protests, basically that iconic protest where they let out the dogs and they basically was spraying them with water hydrants, and that pressure was just like they had bodies just dragging and getting flown across the street. Um, I'm glad that they ain't said fuck it, man, let's do that. But it's just like I don't even know if people were punished for that shit afterwards.
You're saying
I don't
back
know.
then? Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I
no
don't
way
even
in
know if people
hell.
were.
No way in hell they got punished for that. Not back in them days. Hell no. They probably got fucking awards for that shit. They probably got medals for that. Nah, no way.
And I don't want that shit to happen to these motherfuckers. I don't want all the shit like from the video you showed me from what's his name, Joe Schilling.
Yeah, Joe Schilling.
Like I really think I really hope what happens from all this, someone takes those videos, identifies those officers, and they're punished. Like I don't know if people basically it's like is there a thing where the people can go to court against the officers? Like what if that's a like I don't know. I'm starting to think about it because I remember so many different instances where it's like such and such versus such and such. It's like, hey, why don't the people of the United States put a fucking lawsuit against the entire goddamn police department, like just all of them. Like we just take that shit to straight up. We go straight to the Supreme Court and we put the people versus fucking law enforcement, and we get this shit under wraps. Like it's gonna be the longest absurd trial ever, but that's like basically what we need to do.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Uh, it's just it's one of these things where it's like this is obviously going to be a pivotal moment for the country as a whole and for black people especially and not even just for black people for everybody because it's really nice to see all those other people come out too who aren't black, but it's like it's also one of those things where it's like okay, it's are these people out here because like is it because they think that they should be out here? Do they really believe this, or do they think that oh, this is just the right side of history to be on, so I'm gonna just be over here. I don't know, because on a regular everyday basis, sometimes being the only black person at some places, it's like you never know where people fall, in terms of how they see black people, or how they may see you
Yeah.
specifically as a black person. Are they looking at you and are they staring at you because they're like, oh, that's the only black guy in here, you know? I wonder what this guy's about, or is it because like, hey man, I grew up in a place where I didn't see a lot of black people. That's a black guy, so wow, I'm like just amazed to see him there. Or is it some motherfucker like, damn, why is this black ass in here? Like, I bet he's gonna do some ghetto shit. He's gonna start like being loud, or he might be here to rob us or whatever. You never know which kind of which kind of people you're around. So I don't know, but they're out
Yeah,
there.
because
They're
you
out there
don't.
getting hit with them rubber bullets with black people. So they're out there getting their ass
Well,
beat
and
too.
I don't know.
So
I've been looking at him. I've been thinking, like the way that I've been going about it in my mind and looking at just the many colors that are out there supporting this. They're supporting this movement, and I think it's genuine. I don't know. I like to think that it's
me
genuine.
too. I
These
want
people
to
are out
believe that.
there. I just I there's little. It's like, okay, so there's that thought process of people are out of work and somebody might be outside just because they ain't have shit to do.
Yeah,
Because like honestly, that's probably also when I see some of those people out there, especially those women, they have their goddamn kids out there. Your kids should not. I don't know. I don't think little babies should be in protest.
me
I
neither.
understand it. It's like, hey, you probably trying to say that shit like, hey man, we fought. And even as a child, my mama made me go out there to support this because this is what we had to fight for. But just seeing the severity of this shit, seeing how little old ladies that ain't got shit to do with anything get shot in the fucking
Yeah,
face, nah. Like, um, actually, I to not linger on this topic too much because it's kind of one of those things. Like, I don't know if you were there when I was talking to V's, but it's exhausting because it's just one of those things where it's like everybody and their mama talking about it, and I get it. This the life that we're in right now, but it's just I don't know. It's there's so much more to talk about. I I don't want to ever like get it twisted. Like yeah, you should be talking about it, but I was like I'm so interested in trying to see what can I do to help fix things. Like there was a period on the not a period, there was an episode of the Joe Rogan show and he was talking about like just doing little things to try to help and just help even more. And one of the things he said was whenever he gets a grocery cart, he he walks it back into the store after he's done. It doesn't matter where he's at. Maybe if it's some hustle and bustle, he'll leave it in the cart. That's the only time. But if he has the time to do it, he'll walk it back. And ever since I heard that, like every time I go to the store, like I don't care how far I parked out, how much bullshit I got in the store when I was there. I walk my fucking grocery cart back to the store so they don't have to go back and get it. I know it's their job, but fuck it, man. I'm gonna be the person that walks their cart all the way back and brings it back inside. Especially since I also know these motherfuckers gotta clean this shit now too. They have to get all these hoes and clean them all one by
mm-hmm.
hand, and like nah. I said to myself, if I can do something, a little something to make a change, I'ma do it. It ain't gonna hurt me. It's extra exercise for me. Like so, yeah. Um, nah, man. From now on, like to this day I die, I want to be able to walk my fucking grocery cart back to the store. I don't care where the fuck I park. I don't care how much shit and how tiring going to the store can be for me. I'm gonna walk my cart back into the store.
I get you. I mean, I used to do that same thing. I just don't. I don't fucking. I don't get that many groceries. I just walk back with them hoes in my hand, or I don't. I just. I go in that bitch and get one of the little hand carts.
We be having like bruh, I didn't fill the basket all the way to the top. It's it's especially in this like this new. Oh, you better make sure you buy all the shit you need. Um, I, being there, I probably won't go to the store. Maybe maybe like what's that? I try to go like maybe like a month or have enough shit for a month so I don't have to go at least like just once
Mhm.
a month. And when you do that, it results in you got a mountain of shit.
Oh yeah. I mean, I go like maybe once every week or two. Get some little shit. A little something, so. Oh, oh man.
The shit. Like like I think it's important that you start with the person. You try to figure out what you can do to help. I'm really I'm trying to be about change instead of still riding on the coattails of the fucking shit that's wrong. I'm trying to look for things where I can make things better. And like there's a because with all of this, I don't know if you were there when I was talking about this last, but it's like one of the things that we start thinking about is how can you how can you protest? How can you show your displeasure? One people always go to like, hey, change your money, direct your money in other ways, so it can, hurt the overall economy. But
Wait, hurt the
like,
overall
what is there
economy?
really? Sorry about that. That was what I mean by
I'm like,
that
damn, nigga.
is
I'm like, who you talking to? Like, hurt the entire American
well,
economy every time you get mad. Like, damn, you talking to the Chinese government or something?
well, actually, now that like you saying it though, it's just kind of like in a way though, that's kind of basically what you're aiming for. You're trying to hurt the economy as a whole, so they understand just how
wait,
pissed
wait,
you are.
how you?
Like if you hit them with the money,
Wait. When you say
you said what?
you gotta hurt the economy as a whole, or that's what it's about. Are you talking about protesting or looting?
Not looting. I'm talking about what you could do for protests. Like one other thing for protesting, basically the scenario is a lot of people always say, all right, we should just start buying black. In the middle, like we see this shit going on, we should be start buying black. Not that I don't know if that's even the best option, but basically it's like you boycott all the other shit so that they know it's like you start boycotting so people know that it's like okay, these motherfuckers are pissed. It's like one way to let them know it's because you're not funding that shit no more. If you boycott some shit for a whole 4 months, they gonna feel that shit, especially if they know the black people are like, I don't know, like I'm trying to think of a good scenario. Because there's nothing you can what are things you can boycott that's gonna affect the police? Like like, what you gonna stop paying your fucking taxes? That's not the option. All these people gonna be in the goddamn RS problem then. But it's like I don't even know what fucking money do you yeah what money do you shut off that it doesn't fucking go to the goddamn cops and they feel the
I
effects of
don't
that.
think it's an issue of money going to the cops. I think it is a issue of our legal system and our law enforcement system. I think the system is inherently like it's rigged to fuck up black people. It's rigged to fuck up black people and Hispanic people primarily. I think it's rigged to fuck us up the most, and it is successful at that. So we need a new a new legal system, and I think we need to or we need to revamp and update our legal system so it is not like so biased. Like things like, and we need to make it we need to de-incentivize. I think, you know, uh, arresting people over shit where nobody's getting hurt, or we need to remove that completely. If nobody's getting hurt, like if nobody is being physically harmed from the act that that person is committing, why the fuck are people going to jail for it? I will never. It makes no sense that we people are still getting arrested because they're fucking smoking weed, or because they have weed, or because they got some fucking psychedelics. If you're not If you're not eating
Mm.
people because of these psychedelics, then why the fuck does the government have the right to tell you you can't ingest something? That's fucking bullshit. Like that kind of shit. That's the way that really hurts us. You know, that's the shit that really fucks up everything is the drug laws. Because I like maybe crack. Okay, somebody smoking crack, but they may not be hurting anybody, but they're kind of hurting themselves, and they may potentially be like causing indirect harm to their community or something like that, right? But still,
Yeah.
I feel like if somebody knows the risk of smoking whatever or doing whatever drug and they still decide to do that drug, that's on them. If they're not hurting somebody, like I don't see why the fuck they're being arrested. That's that's fucking insane to me that that's allowed. Cuz I'm like if you're doing I think you I think drugs should not be illegal at all. No drug should be illegal because if all you're doing is taking that drug, if you're not hurting nobody, if you're not like getting high and running around naked, which you're not physically hurting anybody, but also at the same time nobody wants to that you're really disturbing society doing that. Nobody wants to see somebody some random motherfucker running around with his dick out, But like if somebody gets high and they do that, then make that be on the person. Make it be like, hey, okay, we're charging you with uh, indecent exposure. You're running around naked, but why do you need to charge them for crack too? Like, I don't get that. What you're charging them for possessing a substance that's ridiculous to me. I mean, it's not like it's a bomb or some shit. It's
And
not like it's a chemical bomb or something to kill people with. It's just like some whatever
well,
drug. The drug should not be illegal. It should be the actions that we're looking at that should be illegal or not. If you're high and you
well,
crash your car into somebody, then maybe we should call that a DUI still, because you knew what you were doing. You knew you were getting high and you were in no state to drive. But we shouldn't then go, oh, you had this substance in the car, you had weed in the car, so you're going to jail for even longer. That is bullshit to me. And it's shit like that and seeing how rigged the system is that makes me go, no, go to jail? No, fuck you. I will never get arrested. Like it's it's better to get killed than to live your life in a fucking box with fucking rapists and murderers for like nothing. You know? That's stupid to me. It's fucking ridiculous. That's why
I
it's
think
hard to stop
I know
talking
for a
about this
fact there's
shit.
it is. As I was, that's why I was trying to interject, but it's like you need to get your point across because also it brought it to another part, which yeah, they should not be in the same place. They should not be in the same place. That's why that whole rehabilitation thing should be a thing because it's like when you start thinking about the reasons why certain laws were made, it's because or like say for instance like with drugs and shit, you penalize these people because they they know that you should not really be driving while you're high because it could cause certain accidents that could basically end other people's lives. It's kind of like because I was thinking about the whole thing where people who steal, like if they keep stealing, you know, that's a reason to put their ass in jail. Not necessarily with the same murderers and killers and shit, but I don't know. Maybe it's like is there something you need to get to the bottom of? Is there a reason why this person is stealing? Does that basically mean they need to go to this whole new rehab equivalent, which is not, which is basically not the place they send these murderers and shit? But it's, I
Oh
don't know.
wait,
Oh, I guess
my
pretty
bad.
much.
Are you saying
What's up?
rehab like as in the Norway place, that kind of rehab for people who have not did violent crimes? I get you.
Pretty much.
Hmm.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Because it's a whole nother like it's a whole nother thing. Like there's reasons why these people do such and such. Yeah, there are some people who literally just steal and lie because they feel they have to. Like I don't know. Do you remember Breaking Bad? The part where Hank Schrader's wife would just go around stealing
Oh
shit,
yeah, yeah,
and she would just keep doing it, and it was because there were other problems within, like home, within like she had other issues, underlying issues that basically fueled this whole I want to steal shit. Just not because I was trying to harm somebody or not because I even needed it. It made me feel good. Like yeah, you can go to jail for that shit. You can go to jail for that shit, but it shouldn't be for the same place where a motherfucker just convicted of murder. It should be like fucking if it's Norway, then yeah, it should be some kind of rehab. And basically, what this whole conversation is the whole push and desire for prison reform. And like honestly, I think we should, since we both hate this shit, we should probably look up and see how we can contribute. That not necessarily like, hey man, I'm here, I'm donating
yeah.
some money to this shit, but maybe there's
I'm just
something
gonna go
that's
to a
shit
protest.
like in the eight. You're just
Yeah,
gonna go
I'm
to a
gonna go
protest?
to the next protest. I'm going because yeah, I'm. This is bullshit. Like, what's going on with these cops? That's not how this society is supposed to work at all. But I mean, it's been happening for ages. You know, it's been happening forever. But it's like we're all. I kind of looked at it as seeing the sheer number of people out there. I'm like, okay, this is society. This is still still a small amount of the American people. But seeing the streets filled with that many people lets me know that, oh, we're trying to make a change now. We're tired of seeing this shit. We're finally tired now. It's we're finally tired of accepting this shit. It's it, it's over now. Or we're trying to shut it down. We want some kind of change. Cuz in the same way that what was that called? Not the Wall Street riot, not Wall Street riot, but the Wall Street Occupy Wall Street. The same way that shit happened, and they called out for change, and then eventually they stopped calling out for change, and nothing changed. Like that can happen here, but I don't want it to. I don't. It's just I don't know, bro. I'm fucking slightly stoned. It's hard to fucking explain in great detail right now.
Well, it's funny because it's we were talking about prison reform, and then you was like protest, and I was like, but you can't really protest prison reform at the very moment. Then I realized what you were talking about. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
protest. I don't know. I don't know I don't know if protesting the way to go? Is it one of those things where if you can influence more people to protest, then basically yes, you're helping the overall cause. The more people you got
Hmm.
out there on the streets, the more that cause is now heightened and people know about it. And I think about fucking Hong Kong when they were
Yeah.
basically protesting and they had everybody and their mama out there. But I'm trying to remember, did that situation even get resolved?
It's
I don't
funny
even know if
that you
that's
say. Well, not necessarily funny. It's kind of sad that you mentioned that because that basically got canceled, right? So
yeah.
it got withdrawn. It got withdrawn at first, which means that it's still on the table, but it's like it's not on the table at that precise moment, but it could come back later. So they stayed out there. They kept protesting. They knew that it wasn't over, so they kept protesting. And then I believe it finally got canceled. And after that, I think that they proposed a new deal, a new thing, and they just went through with the new thing, and it's not being implemented yet. Like it's some national law or some shit like that. So at the end of the day,
Mm.
it it like it may have caused changes in the society in the way that certain people think about what kind of power they have maybe, but like or like just how their government works. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter. Or like at the end of the day, it didn't change. It didn't stop it. It didn't stop it from happening. So they're trying to I think America
Mm.
and or the U.S. and like the UK and I think a few other countries are trying to make their laws easier for people in Hong Kong to make it to America because China's going to go in there.
Mhm.
They're going to kill if they can find out who is protesting. They're probably going to kill them or throw them in jail. Yeah, because I mean
Yeah.
that's an authoritarian regime. It's not like a regular government. It's like on some evil shit. I mean, not to say that our government don't be on evil. They definitely do. But I don't know, man. Just we live in such a crazy ass
Do
time.
you think we should fucking go? Well, I don't know if this is that conversation that if shit pops off and China comes through, they're gonna put a gap through us. They're gonna be
I,
like da 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 da. But nah, do you think we should go through that shit and basically hit them with that whole you now have to be a
wait,
democracy.
you're saying we should hit China with that? Oh no,
Yeah,
China's
we gotta
China's not.
storm, man.
Hell no, that's never a good choice. I can't think of one situation in American history where it was a good thing that we went into another country and invaded them and to change their government. That's never worked out. That's never been a good. In my opinion, that shit never works because you can kill people, but you can't. I don't think you can. You can suppress them, but you can't really change them.
Actually, you
I don't
bring
know.
like that was something I came across. They were saying if you really want to go for that approach, if there's really someone that's like supposed to someone that's supposed to do anything that's trying to change a country to be a democracy, it's supposed to happen within. And that's kind of what those protests show. There's more people that well, I don't know if it's per se more people that want to push for that, but I know for a fact there's a good ass number of them that basically are probably interested in like, yo, let's make this shit a democracy. Especially with the what city is that? The one that was basically not a part of the country, but now it's coming back to be a part of
Oh,
the
you're talking
country
about
again.
Hong Kong?
Whatever that whole scenario is that
Yeah,
the case right
yeah.
there?
Or either
Is
you're talking about Hong Kong, or you're talking about Taiwan, or you're talking about
I know I'm not talking about Taiwan. I know Taiwan's a
yeah,
whole nother
yeah.
special case. Like
It's
I don't even
basically said I
like
quit
I don't
China and seceded.
That's have you seen that post where they're always talking about like the it's the prime minister. He's like they're asking him like what about China? What about Taiwan? And he's like fuck Taiwan. Basically, he's like disregarding them and the whole like when he's in a meeting and they ask him about Taiwan, he's like fuck Taiwan. Basically, that's what he's doing in the whole interview.
Yeah,
They was asking about COVID and they was like, "What's about the state of Taiwan?" And he just kept bypassing it. Like, nah, we ain't fucking talking about them. Those niggas don't
yeah. That's
exist no
some
more.
corrupt ass shit for everybody to be like that, or for people to be like that. They're just showing off for China, saying, "Hey, I'm your bitch." Yeah, but man, it's just living weird times. I don't remember any other time in history that I've read about or seen in a video or heard about in class where it was like this much crazy shit going on at once. Not to mention the new Cold War that is that seems to be starting with China. You know,
What's the Cold War? Tell me about yeah, because yeah, I don't know exactly what the
I'll have
Cold
to
War is.
disagree with you there, though.
wait, why you say that about the Cold War?
Um, the the Cuban Missile Crisis,
Yeah,
that whole era was probably some shit. Like you had people walking around thinking they were gonna get nuked at any moment.
yeah.
Like even we haven't experienced that kind of shit.
I mean, true, we haven't
Mm.
experienced it in that way, but
They had to show. They
well,
had to show. I remember they had to show videos at workplaces and stuff, basically saying that if you see a flash of light, you're supposed to hit the ground and and cover your head and stuff like that. And you know, that wouldn't have done anything if it was a
Yeah, you would
nuclear
have
blast.
died.
But they, yeah, but they had to put stuff out like that just to get people to come back to work.
but see, but see, those missiles, they never. Maybe the number of missiles has the number of missiles definitely has been reduced, right? But those missiles are still there. We're just not talking about them. There are nuclear missiles pointed at each of our locations. For fucking sure, there are missiles pointed at our location right now, right the fuck as we speak. There are nuclear missiles pointed at our fucking cities, but we're not. We're just not talking about it.
I don't know, man.
That's for fucking
You
sure.
think I don't like particularly think they're
Yeah,
pointing at Dallas. Like,
hell yeah, it's
come on,
pointed at Dallas.
why would you bomb Dallas? Why would you
No,
bomb Dallas? Like, what's a good reason to bomb
Texas
Dallas?
Instruments is a good reason to bomb Dallas. The economy,
I'll give
the
you that one. I'll
economy,
give you
the
that one.
amount of money Dallas makes is a reason to bomb Dallas. The population here is a reason to bomb Dallas. You know, it's
Oh yeah. You know, when people think America, the first place they think is New York, California, Texas.
yeah. Like I
Ha!
mean, have you
Maybe
heard
not
of
in
the
that
Satan
order,
II?
but
That's yeah, that
I have
Russian
heard of
missile
Satan
that
too.
can take out like all of France. That one nuclear, that one nuclear. I don't know if you would call it a nuclear missile or a nuclear bomb or whatever. The nuke, for simpleton terms or layman's terms, like what?
Why'd you bring it up? The Satan too.
Like if they have a missile that big, if they have a nuclear missile that can take out a whole fucking country, that can take out that much landmass, and that's just the shit that they can tell you about, then there's other shit that is even more devastating. That means they're still making shit to kill each other with. That hasn't stopped. It's just that now it's not on the news. Now it's not on the fucking paper. Instead, now we're talking about Black Lives Matter.
Mm.
We're talking about riots. We're talking about Muslims. We're talking about uh, Mexican cartels. We're talking about different shit to keep you scared and whatnot. But yeah, those missiles are still pointing at us. So you could say in a way that, I mean, of course, the Cold War is over from a civilian perspective, but for the people,
But you could
I
say it
mean,
never ended.
I would say, did it ever really end? Because I mean, I have no real way of knowing. And I'm just saying that when I say that I think a new Cold War is starting up, I'm just saying that purely from the way that I should say, I guess you could say military, damn, I wouldn't even know how to explain it. I guess parts of the way that certain parts of the government have come out and said, China's the biggest threat. We need to do this and this and this. We need to watch out for China teaming up with Russia. And the way that, there are kind of these lines being drawn in the sand in a way. Like these are the Eastern powers over
Hmm.
here, these are the Western powers over here. The way that sand lines in the sand are being drawn, in the way that China's trying to better its military. They're getting their military well equipped, and the whole China fucking the China South China Sea, I believe it's called, the South China Sea issue. You know about that, right? Where they're building
No,
islands in the fucking ocean,
yeah, yeah.
and
Okay. I was
and
waiting for
because
you
we
to. I was okay.
well,
That shit. That.
oh
Oh, my bad. I kind of got excited because I still think that's like I still think that's like one of those dope ass super villain moves. Like that's like a cool ass suit. Like when I first found out about that, I was like, yo, these motherfuckers are building islands. And it's like these rules haven't been designed yet. And since they're doing it first, it's like it's a whole nother territory. They can make the rules for this shit. Even though there is something among the chords. I forgot what it's called. I forgot what it is, but there's something in like the line, like the laws of just the world. What is that shit called? It's like the world accords or the shit, and like things we can't do. Like it's like the same way where you can't use certain weapons in war times.
rules
There's
of
like rules
engagement.
that we have about like yeah, like but there's like rules we have about open water. Like open water is it's
Oh,
belongs to
international
everybody,
water.
and you can't
Yeah,
just go out there
international
and
waters. And yeah, they're
yeah,
building that shit in international
yeah,
waters and
and you
saying, hey, this is our territory. We weren't at the whatever like agreement that the whole world came to. That's invalid because we say that our land is right here. And so we flew some fucking planes over there, and they threatened us with fucking global thermonuclear war. Like, what? I wish people could have saw that on the fucking news when they fucking threatened us with global
mm,
thermonuclear war.
Why
Like,
didn't you share it here? I didn't know about it.
that was this. No, this was this. What I'm talking about now was like 2 or 3 years ago, and that was just 2 or 3 years
I didn't
ago.
know
And
anything about
that's
it.
when relations were much better than they are now. Or I should say, not, I wouldn't say much better than they are now, but better than they are now for sure. It wasn't big news. The only reason I knew about it is because I was always looking at like I was coming to like appreciate like how much better and bigger our military is than other militaries out there in the world. And I was looking at the South China Sea shit, and then like our Air Force pilot or whatever flew over the island that they were building, and I guess on their comms or whatever, the Chinese got on the Americans, and they were like, they started yelling and shit, and he was like, hey, get out of our airspace, leave our airspace immediately, leave it right now. They're, get out of our airspace and blah 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 blah. And I was like, what the fuck? That really happens out there? Like, that's crazy. That was crazy to me. And then on their news, they're like, does America want to keep messing around with these islands and risk like a global thermonuclear war? And I was like, what the fuck? Like that it's just nukes hanging over our heads. We not talking about them, but oh, the Chinese military is talking about them bitches. That's crazy. That's crazy. So that's why I say it's like we're in the new Cold War because those ties are America seems to be in certain ways trying to separate itself from China and be more self-sufficient, and China's really not liking that. And then you got the Huawei situation, and just
Are we? Because it doesn't seem
these
like it.
little, huh?
Are we? Because it doesn't seem like it.
Are we? You're saying are we in a Cold War right
No,
now?
that we're trying to be more self-sufficient.
Or I'm saying we're pulling
we
away from
suck at
China.
that.
Like we're definitely pulling away from China. Like the relationship we had with China like 4 years ago is not the relationship we have today, for sure.
Yeah,
Like
I
there's
agree.
definitely some
I
animosity
mean, I
there,
get that, but
and more than
that's just
usual.
going to put us in the same position with another country,
What do you mean?
or we're going to depend on another country.
Yeah, but I'm
Are
saying
you sure about that though?
that's what
Because
I'm.
supposedly the push
Yeah,
From
was
it's
to
who?
make
for us.
us
We're trying to bring it to our
the
shore.
prime part
We're trying to
people.
bring certain things back to America.
Doesn't seem like it.
Well,
I don't really know. Like that's the thing. Like it's supposedly like the whole push for fucking Donald Trump is like we need to depend on ourselves. There's so many people that want to like we need to put America first and we make these things in house. I know Tulsi Gabbard, she was real big on that too. She was like,
Yeah,
"Yo, we need to
some
I
focus
got
people,
two
in on us.
some
examples.
That's what we
people,
need to
but we're
do."
not doing
And a
it.
lot of
What you mean? We're some. Well, I mean, we can't all do it all at once. It's gonna take time. It's not gonna happen overnight.
I haven't
It's
heard.
just
I haven't
it's
heard
gonna be a
any big moves about trying to move jobs back home.
yeah. They're honestly like companies pulling out of China. Companies going,
Yeah,
hey, the way you guys handled that coronavirus situation, that we didn't like that, and the way that the world is receiving backlash, and even the Chinese government itself is looking at their 10-year plan, I think it's called, and they're adjusting for the fact that they're about to get Tiananmen level backlash because of the coronavirus. So China itself is trying to be more self-efficient because they know they'll be losing a lot of American
yeah,
money
but people,
because
but people have been pulling out of China for a while, and they've just been looking at places like India.
I mean, yeah, but I guess that's the same thing. It's not. It's not overnight. It's
Yep.
I don't know how to explain it.
But
It's an overtime thing, but like it's not like it's just starting, but it's ramping up.
yeah, but I haven't.
You get what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't understand what's ramping up if in relation to jobs coming back here because I haven't seen a
I
single
shouldn't
move.
say jobs, money, jobs and companies.
Ha- I still don't understand because that's just you'll just trade China for another place to send the money to.
No, no, no. Like coming back. Well, damn. See, like for the to be specific in the way that you want me to be specific, I would have to
Yeah,
go and pull up the shit that I read, and I don't have it. Like I'm not looking at it right now. I'm just going off of, hey, I saw this thing, and I saw what the Chinese response was. Oh, okay. So we're doing this,
Yeah,
and we're
I
doing
was
this
just
because
talk
of X, Y,
I was just
Z.
talking
But
about the self sufficiency part. There doesn't seem to be uh, a good push for here.
well, what would you call a good push so I can understand what you're saying better?
Um, I don't know legislation.
Or
Well, I do know that the tariffs was a good thing
yep,
in that regard,
mm-hmm.
but it seems like it was just a bargaining chip to
it
make new
was.
trade deals and stuff. So it's like, and then there are subsidies and all kind of stuff that's going on for like clean energy and all that, but people are trying to get rid of those and you know different stuff. I just haven't, yeah, I haven't seen any real kind of legislation or or anything that's suggesting that they're going to be tough on the companies that move the jobs of producing our stuff overseas and then sold it back to us.
I get you. I mean, I honestly I can't just pull some shit up that I saw already. Like it's the kind of thing I read and I go, okay, oh, this is going on, cool, and I move forward. But I mean, I'm sure it'll be something that like throughout the weeks, maybe you'll see throughout the weeks or years or however fucking long you'll start to see more of that. Like one example that I can remember is the rare earth elements thing, uh, where China has like the majority of the rare earth element, which just because they say rare earth elements doesn't, they're not actually rare, but they're the most common in China. And we were relying on that for a long time. And then I believe we got the infrastructure set up here and started using other companies in other countries to get those rare earth elements. And that was legislation. You didn't hear a whole bunch about it. Uh, yeah, in fact, like on the main news, on the typical news, you rarely heard anything about it. It was really uncommon to hear about that.
So
But that was one thing. But that happened like in Obama's time, so it's something that's been going on. But
where did you hear about it?
like I said, where did I hear about it? I
Yeah.
I can't
How do
fucking
you
remember,
how do
bro.
you
That
keep up
was
with all this stuff?
just I guess it's a matter of like finding some little tidbit of news and being curious about it because you read an article or something on it, and then you look into it more. You go like to the a government website and you find out, oh, so they voted on XYZ, and this is what this XYZ thing was about, and you kind of go from there. And then you look up, hey, what's this rare earth elements deal? What's that about? And you just go and you read a bunch of articles, kind of get a handle on what's going on.
That's cool.
You get me?
Yeah. I want
I'm
us all to get
just
in
it's just
the habit of sharing that interesting stuff when we come across it because I know I don't do it enough either.
I mean, I don't do it anymore. I don't really do it now, but like a couple of years ago, I was all fucking into the news. I was always looking at the news
No,
constantly.
I
And I
mean
had
when you're doing something interesting or you come across something interesting.
no, no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just like at the time, like I was just really into it. So I was looking at everything or everything I could get my hands on. Just anything that sounded interesting, like like Chris Dorner. I think it was Chris Dorner or Christopher Dorner. Like that was a dude who was in LA. He was a Navy vet, I think.
Mhm.
and he killed some cops in L.A. and they had this manhunt for him,
Mm.
and it was just the whole situation was really weird.
Yep.
It just felt so bizarre, and I started looking into that, and like I ended up getting the guy's manifesto, and seeing what he was talking about, and the shit that you'll hear about on the news that he sent a manifesto to XYZ person, but you never get to read it. They don't show it to you. What was this guy about? And just little shit like that. It's just I was really curious back in the day, and now it's kind of like all the news is just bullshit for the most part.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you keep up with it like that, but I mean, you don't stop being you. Because when this coronavirus shit happened, you were on top of that stuff too, and so was Darius and I. But we were like barely communicating that stuff to each other. But I don't think that
Oh
stuff
yeah,
stops. Like I come across some interesting shit all the time. I just forget to share it.
yeah, I get you. I try to post shit in here every now and then when I see something, but yeah, most of the time
Post that hoe in the
I'm not.
Zuzu.
Oh, like the fucking like this all this rioting shit. I didn't know this was going on for the longest. I found out late as fuck. Like I literally found out the day that they were burning shit in my city.
Really?
Like
I thought we talked
yeah,
about it.
no, I hadn't known any shit about it until it was a Saturday, where there was a helicopter flying outside and stuff. That's when I found out like how serious it was. I didn't know the protests were even in Dallas at first. I like found out the day of one of the fucking protests, and it had already been in Dallas for like a week or two.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like I'm super late on this. Shit. Like I don't know what the fuck they're saying about the coronavirus no more. I don't. I have no idea what other hot topic news there.
I know. I get what V's is saying. Like, I'll do is I'll make that thing tonight. Should I'll do it in my next moment of silence. But yeah, we should get back in the habit of posting shit. Like if we see something that we feel is, for lack of a better word, nah, fuck that. I'm not gonna say juicy. Juicy is just no. Never mind. No. But we if we find some shit that's like, yo, you need to know this shit. Like you always say, Green, um, you need to know the dark. Well, not necessarily the dark shit. You need to know what's out there. Yeah, fine. If you come across some shit
I
like that,
put
post
out
it.
one called Interesting Share.
Interesting share.
Yeah, in
Okay.
Discord.
In the
Hmm.
Discord.
Hmm.
Then we'll have one called
The
Commune.
feed.
See, now
No,
I'm like,
Is this an Izuzu? Oh,
yeah,
okay. Okay. Commune. Wait, what about why commune?
just to talk.
Okay. I still think
oh
that there needs
man,
to be the showcase too, just in case anybody. Because I'm thinking there will be a number of artists that I'll be talking to, so it's like you can show your shit, show and tell maybe. I don't know. We'll get there when we get there. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think there'll be.
yeah. Let's get there when we get there. Mostly, I wanted a place to talk and for a place to share share stuff.
Yeah, showcase. But why? I want you to tell me about fucking Jordan Peterson and David Goggins.
That's a you question.
Oh, so you didn't actually get to dive in on or check them out yet?
No, I just watched that MIT video and um, it was recommended after.
Well, I guess we'll start there. How'd you feel about the MIT video?
It was. Let me pull it up. So I don't remember the name.
wait,
Yeah,
what's
it,
this
it says
MIT
it says
video?
it's how to speak and basically it's about giving presentations and lectures and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
I feel like the
I think it's
wording
more than that.
I feel like the wording is a bit misleading, honestly,
How so?
because it's more about public speaking. Speaking to a crowd with tools for demonstration and props and stuff like that. You know, how to start a presentation and
I need
what rules to follow to keep engagement up and how to finish presentation and it's not um, it's for a very specific kind of speaking, and when it says how to speak, that's just it's just kind of
Oh, too
yeah, like
broad.
too broad for what it is.
Because it should really be like how to speak in the public eye or some shit like that, rather than how to speak. Period.
No, it's just mostly
Mhm.
about speaking to an audience, to a large audience, and you know, in a particular location, like what kind of location to choose and all that stuff. But it's more or less for people who are going to be educating a crowd about something, or an idea or whatever. But they're going to be speaking to this crowd to inform them of something and to have some kind of education take place. I mean, the psychology can probably be used in other places, but it's really more or less for that kind of venue.
And now that's when I get a chance to step in. So that's exactly how I basically took it. So that's 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 how I take it. You you look at that video as these are tools, and it's the same concept when we were talking about how when we were playing Apex and I said, hey, look at this sniper rifle. This is a shotgun. You take those same tools and basically that was the same way he's pretty much teaching you this is how you do this presentation. You can apply that. You can apply those things to pretty much any and everything. You can take those same things, break them down to the essence that they are, because that's how I looked at it. That was kind of an example for you to now modify and take those same things to use in just maybe you want to use that when you're just talking to somebody regularly. Maybe you want to use that when you're, for instance, doing a podcast. It it works. You can break those things down, break those aesthetics down to use it
Well, this one is
elsewhere.
a slightly different medium. I mean, this one it's not live. We don't engage with an audience, and it's mostly just audio. The rules are slightly different.
This is true, but you could always bring in your props in some form of fashion. Say the way we're exchanging stories could be considered your prop. It's I don't know. I'm guess I'm trying to say for me, it's like you go about that how it was broken down in a simple form, and then it's up to you to get as creative and throw the abstractness on as much as you want. It's up for you to improvise. You got the basics, not improvise, and that's kind of how I always like to look at that. Yeah, that's how I want to look at it. I want to look at it that way.
Mm, okay, but how would you? I mean, how would you use it?
So, for instance, if I was thinking podcast, pretty much it would I wish I had like my notes with me right in front of me so I could kind of
Okay,
prepare it.
well, let's skip that question and go into the original point, which is tell me about what's his name? Not David Goggins, the
What's
other
up?
guy. Oh, what's up, Adam?
Oh, oh, damn. I I got I got I got tricked by my own sound buttons. I didn't mean to talk. I heard somebody. I clicked it. I didn't mean to derail this. I clicked the sound button, and I heard, "Yo, look it, what's up?" And I was like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" But it was me clicking the button. But I thought somebody
Mhm.
was talking to me. Uh,
You can't speak to the world and not expect a response, Adam.
no, 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 no. I know, I know, I know. But I just realized that it wasn't y'all that were talking to me. It was myself tricking myself into thinking that somebody was on this forum or on this thing talking to me. Yeah,
Inception.
I accepted myself because I clicked the button that said "Yo, look at what's up," and so I thought somebody was
Mhm.
talking to me, but it was actually the button that I pressed, and I goofed. I wasn't trying to talk. My bad.
And
No matter what,
I love how
you just commanded the floor, so now you have to tell us a story.
Damn. All right. So, uh, okay. All right. So, today at work, I fixed the freezer. Beep, 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 beep. Used my what I call what is it called when you have my mechanical aptitude, and I used it to fix what was a broken freezer. I found the issue only using a flashlight, something that breaks crab claws, like a little crab claw breaker thing,
Hmm.
and um and a squirt bottle that I filled with water. Found the issue, fixed it, sorta, kind of well, jerry rigged it because you can't say the other word no more. Uh, jerry rigged it and showed basically the general manager of the place, like, hey, this is the issue, this is what's going on, this is broken, this is what I did to fix it. It's not completely fixed, but it is working as of right now.
God damn, you are a Swiss Army man.
For the most part, I mean, there's a couple of things that I can't, like, I just absolutely can't do, um like when it comes to like really unique skills, but when it comes to stuff with my hands, I can usually work my way around a lot of things.
That's
There's
cool.
like elect
Wait, was that the whole story?
I mean, no, I mean, like it was
Oh, okay, there wasn't even a sex scene in that.
my bad, my bad. See, what happened was, while I was doing that,
Jenny got stuck in the
now,
freezer. You
while
have
I
to
was
get her
doing
out.
that, yo, this girl was giving me dome. It was like, you're so powerful, and you're so smart, and
Then she was talking at the same time.
yo, she's
That's
skilled, man. She's skilled.
You got some, you got some inhuman concentration, dude.
For sure, dude. You know what? She was skilled, but it wasn't gonna derail me from my actual job. You know what I'm saying, man? Because you have to understand that
Fuck, fuck
that
bitches, get money.
exactly. Actually, for me, it's the other way around.
fix
Is get
fridges.
money and then maybe pay for bitches, but that's different. Yeah,
ain't nothing wrong with that,
yeah.
No,
man.
this is 2020. You just pay for porn.
Nah,
No, hell
I'm
no.
good.
You get that premium in the COVID.
Nah, man. Sooner or later, that it all comes out. Pretty much, you can find anything if you want, if you look hard enough. But that brings me to my next point. Uh, I don't feel like we should be living in this Pythagorean rule anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like the laws of math and uh, the authorities of PEMDAS should be broken down. You know what I'm saying? I'll follow that up later in a different episode or something else. I was
I was
I
like,
You'll
was
follow
huh?
that up in Adam Tangents.
yeah, basically I'll set myself up for a tangent because I have a script written. I mean, sorry, I don't have a script written now. This is all coming from the dome.
Damn, the whole show fake now. He didn't confess.
Yo, all I know is y'all, you keep fucking up and calling this nigga his actual name. He wants to be called Liquid. God damn it.
That's what I said. We didn't iron
Oh,
this shit out, bro. Because
you salty
then I
because
heard we were going with names. We weren't giving a fuck, and then I was like, okay, so what's the deal?
I
No,
thought we were doing that
no,
too. I thought we were giving a
See,
fuck. I thought we were
see,
going with
it's
that.
not just me. I knew it.
no. We
Because the
we
podcast I turned into you, we said names on that one. I was like, okay,
Yeah, that's
going
what
with
happened,
names.
I thought
Yeah.
y'all wanted to be these damn names that y'all picked. God
bro.
damn it.
You were the one that
Green
just
is my
said.
my actual
You were the
name.
one that just said, "Fuck it, I don't care about names." And I was like, okay, I guess.
I don't care about names.
I
You
don't care about
motherfuckers care
names
about
either.
y'all.
Yeah.
I
Otherwise,
don't care about my name.
I'm I have mixed feelings, but I don't
Yeah,
think it'll matter.
I don't think it'll matter
All I
either.
know is every time I talk about y'all now, I'll be like, yeah, my homie Liquid, Dr. Green. And then my bro, well, nah, you know him, not my bro, V's. That's the whole statement.
just just to make sure I'm not the one that pew pew. Is that it?
Yeah, that's enough. Pew pew like a church.
For sure, for
Okay.
sure. No,
Okay. So
yeah,
back to
whatever y'all
back
talking
to
about, whatever bullshit y'all fucking talking about.
Darius.
Bro,
Darius.
fuck you.
I wanted to ask Darius what he liked about Jordan Peterson and what he gets from him.
Oh, yeah, that guy's really good.
Mm.
Super. I like him too.
Actually, take it away. Give me some conversation lube. Go.
Well, I like him because based on my background of like how I grew up, this guy seems to like be able to give it a good mix of like because I think fundamentally this guy's a Christian, and but he is also like a pseudo philosopher, kind of like in the middle, bipartisan. Like he has like these cool ideas that I like, and if you've I've dived deep into his podcast like that he has, and some of it is like in regards to like theologian stuff, and that's what I like about him. I mean, I like him for the theologian aspects of his conversation and his like the way like a lot of his thoughts come from what sounds like and what feels like a theologian background. So I like it because it has like I mean some
Give me an example of how you understand it.
like dang, like a while back he was explaining something and they were talking about I think it was like death and about this whole like the whole like the five stages and whatnot, and they were and he had like an idea. It was like, well, if you do it this way, like this is how they did it in these eras and blah 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 blah, and this is like it transgresses time, so you have to feel like what you're experiencing is a shared experience, and it's like once you receive and I'm super paraphrasing because it's been a long time since I've actually sat down and listened to some of this stuff because it's just it falls to the wayward of all my other like I have 25 podcasts that I listen to and they're all 3 hours long, so I can't like I sometimes just click stuff, but it felt something like that, and it was like towards the idea of like, hey, this is a shared experience, and this is a shared experience because essentially because God exists, we all are God, and to some form, since we are His shape and His like what like we are Him, and He is within us, and so this shared experience of death is universally acknowledged, and like there's like a damn, how do you put it? Like it's like hey, you're never alone. There's a lot of things you're alone in when it comes to life
Mm,
and your experiences, but death is one that you can that's 100% every human will experience it in which way or another
mm,
and have to deal with it. And so it was just like kind of working through it. You know, I and that just all that kind of just plays into me and my fascinations with the dead and like the dead and the death and just these aspects because I just obviously there are answers that you can never answer and you don't know what's going to happen afterwards, but for me I feel like a lot of the things that I do are to prepare myself in any which way. I know when it actually happens I'm never going to be ready for it, but I want to stifle the blow of my parents. It's not like
mhm,
I only have one pair, so uh so when it comes to things like that, I just kind of I like to pay attention and really listen to it and try to work through it for myself because eventually I'm going to have to experience it and I know I will.
mhm.
Mm.
And
That's true.
I rather I experience it than my parents. I wouldn't want to die before them. So
Mhm,
I think they would be more hurt than I would. But at the same time, like I don't want to make it sound like that, like, hey, I'm better than them. But no, it's just like I have these things at my these tools to my disposal that they probably never have ever or will. So I want to, in essence, just be ready for it
mhm.
as much as I could be. But Obviously,
Yeah,
that's
I have that feeling too about certain people.
right. And it's just that's kind of like some stuff that I've heard about him, and I like how he goes into like the deep research into things, like the topics of Egypt and all these other like just like small things, they talk about like because he can argue with the Bible, like he can use the Bible as a tool for an argument or counter argument, and he's gone against some like he's gone against some people, and it's not like the whole like Ben Shapiro destroys whatever, but it's more like um let's listen to this atheist talk and now listen to like him talk and then this other person, and it's just like it's a huge like it's not just a screaming match. It's a super real discussion, and nobody's like, "No, I'm right." Everybody's like, okay, cool." You know, so that's why I like him.
Mm. You say you have 25 podcasts you listen to?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I rotate between. Here, I can actually give you a count because it's
Where do you listen to all these podcasts?
on my phone.
No, I mean like what are you doing when you're listening to them?
Yeah, 25. What I do is I had to count. It's actually 25. What I normally do is you see a good portion of culinary is like dealing with monotonous tasks,
Mm,
and so it really helps the time go by when you get to listen to something. And also, I mean, this all plays into like what we talked about last time about me being like feeling lonely and like always growing up by myself. I feel
mhm.
like I feel a lot better, and it like calms my nerves when I hear somebody talking, because in my mind I can pretend they're talking to me, so I don't feel as lonely. And I know that sounds crazy, and it sounds like super like I don't know, has like super extroverted situation for me or whatever, but like um I'd rather have someone talk to me than me think of my own thoughts. Because when I
Mm.
think of my own stuff, I get into this like weird like not power trip, but like I go through a lot of stuff, and so I like the distractions. And s-
No, I
and
get that. I don't
yeah,
think it's weird. We're social animals, so I think a lot of people feel that way. And I think a lot of people, especially in this age, feel very lonely. We talk to each other on, through screens and text and stuff, but hardly anyone is like around each other talking like we used to.
yeah. And see, this is kind of it's kind of what I do, but the thing is, I do it for the idea of being able to learn something as well while occupying my hands. So I like to like there's a couple that I listen to that are just some of them are like mysteries or like what's it called what do you call them, like true crimes, so I get to listen to true crime. um some of them are based on just like Joe Rogan style, or they could just be um comedy based, so I can expand my like timing and the way things are related, because I mean I have ideas, but a good amount of them. And then like probably half of the podcasts I listen to are conspiracy based. so so I mean I learned things because some of them like Jordan Peterson's podcast. I used to listen to Ben Shapiro just to see what the argument was from that just side direction, because then and I could because my news from what I get from my Google Home and everything else comes from the left. And
Mm.
obviously Ben Shapiro was like far right sometimes, but I just wanted to like it's funny to hear things like this is one thing, and then you hear like a voice of the right say some other things, and the way they argue. I mean, then I throw
Mm.
just so I don't feel too crazy. I throw Alex Jones in there so I can feel like pretty at peace. So so,
Mm.
so like that's kind of what I do.
That's funny. So Darius, why do you like Jordan Peterson?
His ability to break things down, and I don't know. It's like he has it. he tends to speak in a manner that makes you understand. Like it's a simple thing. The thing he said something about if you can't clean your room and get your shit in your room together, then you don't have any business in trying to fix problems with the world. If you can't fix a simple thing like that, if you can't keep your own house in order, you don't need to be doing shit else outside of that.
Mm.
That just kind of go, okay, okay, this nigga know what he's talking about. Well, that's just like one of my favorite things to like just always to go to first when it comes to like a quote from him, or I don't know if that's a quote primarily from him, but the the other thing that his book was that 12 Rules for Life is pretty good. I haven't finished it, but it's a damn good book, and I'm gonna finish it. And oh, he just makes sense. To me, it's like he's not running on some bullshit. He's literally leaving it to, hey, these are some facts and this is how I feel about things. He's doing thought experience and these things make sense. I'm trying to think I'm kind of rambling because I'm trying to give a good example of what I'm trying to portray. Like the first time I was introduced to him, it was one of those like the whole Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson destroy somebody kind of thing situations. And he was talking to a either some woman that was interviewing on BBC
Yeah,
America,
he
not
was with the
America.
BBC.
What? Yeah, yeah, pretty much. But she was. It was one of those situations where he was addressing either I think it was like women's not was it women's rights or it was like some kind of women. What's the word am I looking for?
Dishwashers.
The point. You said dishwasher.
Sorry, couldn't help myself.
It was something along the lines of basically like you know how like people say it's like, hey, things need to be equal in the workplace or some shit like that. Like women should get the same amount because of this reason, and I'm butchering this because I don't remember what it was about. I just know that he was putting the best foot forward to explain what he wanted to explain, and she then went with asking questions that tore apart his conversation, and he was acknowledging it like, why are you asking that? Because the information like he was like giving us information, and then she was doing what all she could to like take what he was saying and throw questions back that basically attacked him and made him look like a bad person. I would just have to find you a link and shoot it to you. But point of being, the reason why I like Jordan Peterson is just his ability to break things down in a simple manner, and it's like he understands how things are supposed to work. It's like he's like a neo philosopher. When you think about the old people who did philosophy and the way that they would sit there and just break things down, it's like he's kind of one of those guys today. He's one of he's one of those philosophers. That's kind of how I see him, and it's pretty potent shit because half the shit he actually says is I haven't found one thing I disagree with him on. Like yeah, I haven't found one thing I disagree with him on at the today. Yeah, I haven't.
It sounds to me like a lot of what you enjoy is his ability to communicate. Is that right?
There is that. Yeah, yeah. A lot of it is that ability to communicate because it was that's I know that was what it was. It was like there were thoughts and ideas that I have, and he simplified them to where I could voice them.
Mhm.
You know, it's I think it was one of those situations where I was having an idea about if you create something like what is power? What is power? I was playing around with that idea for the longest about what is power, and I started thinking about like, oh, power is your ability to make shit pop. Yeah, power is your ability to make shit happen. If you have an idea, and you make that idea, how fast you can get that idea to become a reality, that is basically considered power. And then I came across something he was showing or he was talking about in one of his lectures because that's the other thing he does. He has lectures online that he's teaching his kids, not kids, his basically his students, and they go into several lessons. And that's what he's how he started. He started from just giving his lectures online, and then people started wanting to interview him. And he started giving speeches and shit. But back to the power thing. Then I ran into one of his lessons where he was basically saying, "What is power? Power is your ability to pretty much, the same thing. Power is your ability to make ideas um, happen, or how to manifest ideas in reality. And one of those things is to be able to express those ideas. And that means it also goes into communication. You have to be able to express those ideas and communicate them well, because it's like, yeah, you could be the warrior, you could be the one that's out there always slicing and dicing, but you could also be the person that has this brilliant idea, and you can express that and communicate that to both the warrior and the rest of the village, to where now you're ahead of everybody, or you're leading these people because you have the ability to communicate these ideas to these people. So therefore, power is your ability to communicate those ideas, and those ideas that you communicate become a reality because you were able to communicate them effectively.
That's very interesting. I think that I think that's a part of the conversation when it comes to power because I've never thought of it that way. I think maybe there are more than one, maybe there are various types of power because there before this conversation, the one I heard before was I think it was Huey P. Newton, but I'm not entirely sure. But someone said power is the ability to define phenomenon and make it act in a desired manner. And that I've seen that ring true a lot of times in my own life. Like before you can begin to control something, you have to know how to define it. And uh, in your case, what you're saying is sometimes you have to know how to communicate it, and that's not. I mean, it's not untrue, but it's also not the whole story. So I wonder if there are more uh, more types out there for us to learn.
Powers. There is, because there was something else I started playing around with. Just the whole power that me and you used to me and you used to talk about, the whole thing of to be able to be what you need to be when you need to be. Well, that right there is just being able to adapt.
Mm,
And if you can, being able to adapt, it's like another power within itself, combined with being able to communicate. Like, come on now, fucking handling it up, man. You're handling it up. Your fucking what's the shit called in the video games? Your skill chart is just all over the
mhm.
spectrum. But yeah,
You're
man,
trying to fill the skill chart.
I wonder what our powers. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be just balanced. I'm trying to just be just boom, Goku. No wait, Goku ain't really, he ain't got the skill chart and the smarts too much. He knows how to fight smart, but other than that, nah.
You're trying to be Iron Man, basically.
Uh, aren't we all? No.
And Vontae, you said you knew him too.
What? Oh, Jordan
Yeah.
Peterson. I've watched a few videos from him, but I haven't really dived deep into him.
What did you think about the stuff you watched?
Uh, he has a really like interesting way of well, not just interesting, just a really good way of communicating ideas.
Mm,
It's just yeah, like Darius said, he breaks them down, and it's just he makes it so easy to understand.
mm,
But at the same time, like some of the like see, I wish I could remember one like right off the top of my head, but I don't know. There's certain things that he says where I'm like, I don't see the. It seems like there's some, I don't know if you would call them predetermined notions, or like there's just some things where it's like I don't know why you would believe that over, something else,
mm,
or and of course I'm not in the classroom, can't ask them the question.
mhm,
So it's like there's certain times where I'm like, but what about this? Or
mhm.
like, is that there's like these certain ideals and whatnot where I'm like, I don't know if I can trust that to be right. Like, what did Darius just say about? He said something about FU. can't clean your room, then you shouldn't be worried about doing what?
Saving the world, basically.
Saving the world. Man, I know some people who are engineers and doing great at school, and their rooms are clean. Like, what the hell? How's that? I get what he's going for, and I get what he's
Mhm.
saying, and I do think there's some truth to it. But it's just like it's not. I guess it doesn't go deep enough for me to be like, okay, that what he just said, that's something you can live by.
Oh, wow. I get you. I think that
You
was
know,
kind of
it's
my criticism with Ben Shapiro, is that like I could tell this guy had a good command of logical thinking and the logical train, but a lot of the times um, it started off based on a belief that something was true, and if I disagree with that,
mm-hmm,
then everything
yeah,
you just said like doesn't matter. But if you like he would do that and then just go down this logical train like fast enough where the person, if you were overwhelmed by what just happened, you know they wouldn't have a retort because they don't
nice,
know where they got lost in that conversation.
yeah, yeah. See, it's the same way I see it.
What I was getting ready to say to that, like, of course, like you should know from me, I don't like take these things with as like this is the concrete way it should be, and this is just that. For me, I always look at it as like, oh, this is a cool idea to and a cool approach because with that whole scenario, it's basically just saying though, like maybe if you can't keep your
Mm-hmm.
shit in the house in order, yeah, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't be the one trying to decide how
If you don't
how
have
they be.
Yeah.
yourself in order, basically.
Yeah, if you don't have yourself in order, you don't need to be trying to bring order to other things. If you
Mhm.
can't literally figure out a system to
Mm-hmm.
like fold some fucking clothes up,
I get you.
yeah.
I get you.
Or because I know he was joking around with that ideal even further. He was saying that like even if you're not doing it yourself, if you're paying somebody to come in and clean your house and keep that shit in order that way, you figured out a system that to keep that shit in order. So it's just for me, it's just I get the idea and where it comes from because I do also understand that whole thing with like some people have a messy desk but a very organized mind, and some people have a messy mind but a very organized desk. It's just
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. I get you.
And some people don't agree.
Yeah,
That's what
I
someone
get you. I
said in the
mean,
background.
shit. It's
Um,
just a different path, and like, I guess I guess I'm looking at the road, and I'm trying to see which path is.
The Road? That's a whack ass movie.
Nah, man,
No,
that's a
fuck.
great movie. I want to watch that
That
movie
gives
again.
PTSD.
But nah, I guess it's just like I'm looking at the road, and it's like, man, he's going down one road, but like, which road is the correct road? Because there's just so many different paths
Mm.
and or so many different styles of living. Like, which one is right? Because you can. I know that's
There
the
is no
thing about
correct
it,
path.
though. It's like
Do you often
what
feel that way?
that they're.
You don't know which path is the correct path?
Uh, I'd say so. Well, not always, because there have been times where I felt like, okay, this is the path, this is the way it should go. But then you kind of see things on the road, so to speak, that make you think, okay, this path is it is, or like these paths are fake in a way, where
Hmm.
like you ever been on a dirt country road? Like it's like if you're driving down a dirt country road, and then slowly over time you realize that on the horizon that everything is right. So if everything is a road and you're just driving down the road, it's like there is no road anymore. If that makes sense. There is no road and there is a road at the same time. Ooh, I'm sounding like
Hmm.
I got those Elon Musk like super
You talk like Morpheus.
I mean, but like that's the way I think about some stuff, and it's hard to put that into words sometimes. Uh, but
I
yeah,
get you.
it's kind of like that.
I think a little bit of that is a entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just a confusing way to look at shit for sure.
I think it's a smart way of looking at it.
Yeah,
You just have to
but
use it.
that's the thing about it. It's like where do you go when there's no destination? You know?
Go where you want to go.
See, that's the thing. That does not make sense to me. That's a 404 error, man.
You don't. Where do you want to go?
Like there is no I guess there's no specific, destination though. It's
What do you want to? How do you want to live your life?
well that's the thing. That's another thing. Life just kind of happens. and and
No, I get that, but you don't have an
wait
answer
for
for
like
that.
how do I want to live my life? Hmm.
Yeah,
Like I guess on a day by day basis. I don't I guess it's not that
not on
like
a day by day,
what's the
just in
question
general.
really, you know? I'd like or another way of phrasing it,
Okay,
you know?
well, for me, uh, hmm, I want to be able to uh, have my place where my food is growing and being taken care of, and uh, I want to be able to have a place where I can move around and spend more time with my friends and family, and hang out with the homies, and not live on a specific timeline or a specific schedule,
Mm,
basically. And that's the kind of thing
mm,
I'm working towards, or at least, the different steps
yeah.
to get me to that position. But, I definitely want to eat better and eat healthier stuff that I know hasn't been sprayed with chemicals and all that stuff. And, that's why I got into gardening. And if I could pay someone to do it, I might do that. I might pay them to help me with, you know, some heavy lifting, or, just getting it started, or something like that. But the main part is that, I want to uh enjoy the food, enjoy the learning process of nature, and uh how connected to it I am,
Mm, okay.
and keep my mind open to, new ideas and people and all that stuff, and to spread good where I can, spread joy where I can. That's just my basic way of looking at it, and what I've learned so far about myself.
Hmm. I get you. Damn, that's a damn. I kind of had something like that, like very similar to that, for a good while. I mean, you're doing it like now though. You're like working towards that now. For want to do it like after got a certain amount of job experience, so I could always have something to fall back on. And it was gonna be like
Hmm.
it was gonna take like a 10, 15 years, maybe 20 years, kind of to get to that point. But damn,
uh,
fucking awesome.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's one part of it, you know, and it's hard to put all those different types of things into words, but you know, more or less, I want to have uh, more time to do stuff that I want to do and to spend time with my loved ones and to have good health and yeah, keep my mind open and talk to people. And these are different things that I do at different times, but it's just, you know, I want to do this stuff and sometimes I'm able to do it and sometimes I'm not, but I have a good grasp of this is how I want to live my life. I want to feel like I'm free to travel, free to go visit whoever, free to expand my horizons, free to do nothing, free to, you know, all this stuff. And I can't be free if my body is not
Yeah,
healthy, you know? And so that was one of the pieces of the puzzle. And the process helps me learn different things about life and different things about myself and all that stuff. So I'm just wondering what is that for you? Like what do you want to do or how do you want to live your life? Because I still admire how you did with the when you took your 6 months off to basically sit around, do whatever, and play games and
yeah,
you know smoke it up and
yeah,
all that. I thought that was cool as fuck.
yeah. I really fucking needed that, man. Yeah, just to fucking to get out of that fucking daily office cycle. I fucking hate that shit.
Hmm.
To like go out, go fucking run every day, fucking work out. You know, which I was doing when I was working and all that. But just the fucking added stress of that bullshit of like working your ass off only to get like more recognition or more work. And then it's like then it's like it gets you get so good at it that that you get like too much shit and it's just like
Hmm.
what the fuck, man, I should have just slacked off because I'm not getting any real benefit to me working this hard and like I'm supposed to expect this shit to come to me in like 10, 15, 20 years. Just supposed to
Hmm.
trust that, like, nah, dude. And not to mention, you look in the office, or at least when I looked around the office, I saw a lot of people who I was like, damn, this person is like me in a way. I see like me, my habits kind of tell me, hey, oh man, you're started for the county, and then they've been there for
I didn't
oh
hear
shit,
you. You were cutting out.
not
You said people were telling you what?
that hey, you remind me of myself when I worked here. When I first started. They've been there for 20 years or 30 years or 40 years, and you're like, damn, that person is unhappy as fuck. Like, I or they have
Mm,
these restraints on their life that I'm complaining about right now, and like, why would I do that? And I don't know. It's just some of the
mm-hmm,
principles of like, you kind of look at you kind of look at the way certain elements, certain aspects of things work in terms of their ethics, uh, what they mean for business or the way that money works is kind of disheartening, and it's like what like do I really want to be a part of this shit? Like in the same way you're like you don't want to be part of this system. Like I'm looking at it too, and I'm like, who is this system really benefit? And why is it that
mm-hmm,
people who do shitty stuff are on the top, or there are so many people who do shitty stuff, cheat people, have bad ethics, are at the top and making lots of money and doing great, Like, why is that? It's a coincidence? Is that
It was that's how it was
yeah?
made. It's always been the rich ruling class, and yeah, I mean they don't want
Yeah, I'm
change.
just like, there's so much of this shit that is fake. Like, look at like where the fuck did all this money come from? This coronavirus bailout money come from? Like,
War,
oh,
hell with
I
that
don't know.
money.
Wait, you talking about another thing? Uh,
Well, I was thinking about like that whole boomer age and all that prosperity that that average Americans
mm-hmm.
saw. Well, I guess not all. Even that's kind of
Yeah,
its own conversation, but all of that was during war and different shit. A part of that, and like the system that allowed a bunch of people to profit from basically nowhere is not here anymore, and you have to find some alternative way or to be really great at what you do and really great at leveraging and selling who you are in order to um, do that well for yourself where you can be moderately well off.
it's
Yeah, that's why I went the path that I went because I saw how hard it was just for me to get some bullshit job at I think Office
mm-hmm.
Depot or some shit like that. It's like I got this degree and this I'm not just like an instant hire or something like that. Like they were choosy about it, and I just saw that, and I saw if I go down this road, I'm just gonna end up killing myself at some point, and
Yeah,
that's not what I want for my life.
yeah. It's a it's a fucking shitty grind, like going that route. And then
But you have the smarts to see all this stuff. Like you should be like if you had the time and focus to build you some stuff, dog, you could be fucking it
yeah.
up.
I mean, that's the thing though. It's just I don't see a reason to build that shit. At the same time, it's like some of the shit you built, like the I don't want to be. It's so fucking hard for me to wrap my fucking how to explain this, but I don't see the point in I don't see the goal of this shit. The way I think of it, I guess this is a way to put it. Like the way I see it, uh, space, right? The fucking biggest thing we know, right? There's all these galaxies and whatnot out there, and a lot of that shit is like in
Hmm.
chaos. Like, I mean, the planets are still, or they're rotating on their axis or whatever. But there's like that's the world. I mean, I guess since I don't have a religion or a god or anything like that, I don't believe in any religion. I guess I would call myself agnostic. I can't, you know, I can't mark out the fact that maybe there is some shit out there by some somehow out there or whatever and whatnot. But what I do know is we're on this rock and we're fucking spinning. And it just happened to have the right conditions for us to grow. You could call life like a not to be melancholic or anything, but like life is kind of like a mold, and it grew on a planet, you know, and it's a good thing. I like the fact that
Hmm.
I'm alive. Don't get me wrong. Things are great, but
Psych.
it's like a mold grew on a rock, and it's a when you have you there's this Instagram channel that's like nature is brutal or something like that.
Oh yeah, I love that,
Yeah,
man.
it's crazy, and it's crazy to see that, and it's crazy to see like real world violence, whether in person or like through the internet or a video or some shit like that. Because it's kind of like, holy shit, like this world that we live in now, where like violence isn't on that level, at least in America, in the places we live, it's like, man, this this world that we live in now is pretty new, and it's crazy. It's like we're living in fantasy land, and it's like, damn, people in the past, like they lived through that, like that was a daily thing. Somebody could raid your fucking village or whatever, kill all the men, rape all the women, impale all the kids on some shit, or do some other fucked up thing. Just like,
It's like
what
foreplay.
the fuck? All right, Epstein. Nah, but
Hey, don't be
you
calling me no
said
Epstein.
kids and foreplay, I think. But nah.
No, he said
It,
I think in
oh
spikes and stuff.
God. But
How does that
and,
stuff
and
affect
and my point
affect your
being with
life?
that is like this world, it don't have any rules. I mean, don't get me wrong, our society has rules, but like there's no rules on life. You're just every human is just a fucking animal. I mean, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. Of course, I'm a human, but we're all animals. We're just a different animal that's like taking over this planet, and we've got technology that's better than
Hmm.
all the other animals. We could get into space. We can create our what we call art. We can do all these things, but like at the end of the day, we're just animals on this rock, and it's the I don't have this grandiose view of life where you gotta do this and this and this and that and this. Because I look at the how many people are like just working, how many people are just getting by, and all this fucked up shit that's going on in the world, and it's like I think some of these rules are all these rules are bullshit. Those rules are just in place to keep society working, right? That's it's so when I was
Mm.
going to school and I was like, man, I'm doing all the fucking hard work. I'm the one reading these fucking. I'm the one taking the tests. I'm the one studying. I'm the one going to work at this school so I can pay for my own schooling. And it's like, damn, what's gonna happen when I get out? When I get out, I'm gonna go get a job. I'm gonna go produce money and whatnot. And then you have kids, and then hopefully you raise your kids correctly and you die. And I'm kind of like, that's bullshit. Of course, that's the way the cookie crumbles or whatever. But like, just all the rules, all the shit. Like, I can't smoke weed. I can't eat plant. I can't do this. If I want to go travel here, I got to do this. I got blah 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 blah. It's just a bunch of rules, man, and it seems like it's bullshit. It would be different if the rules weren't
Uh,
fucked up, or the society was. I mean, of course, I'm not saying that society would ever be flawless, but it just looking at who's winning on the grand scheme of things, I'm like, nah, dude, why participate in this?
we'll talk about that. We can talk about that more later. My question is still, what does that got to do uh, with you living a life that you want to live? Do you have a life? I mean, do you have something in your life that you want to do, or a way that you want to live?
I guess not a way that I want to live, but more of I have some specific things that I would like to do. Uh, like
Like
learn
what?
learn jujitsu. Like that's something I want to do. Just because I've always wanted to
Mm.
learn a martial art.
Why aren't you doing it?
Right now, it's just this coronavirus shit knocked knocked my plans out of sync for a bit. So I ended up not getting a job that I was trying to get at the time, and so now I'm gonna have to find something else in another industry, which I'm working on. But besides that shit. Oh wait, what's that? Oh, but besides that, I mean, that's just a money issue. You know, I have to be making the money. It's not cheap. And then on top of that, I have to have
Hmm.
the schedule with that job to be able to do that. So once I started doing it at my last job, but like I ended up quitting. I left that fucking place. I hated it there
So why not build something to help you get to your goals faster?
because I would think that would take even more time and push off the shit or push off. I don't know. I feel like making those plans that just there's no uh, net positive result from them most of the time.
You write that it does take time, but it's also a thing that you can build over time
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, like on the side kind of thing.
Hmm.
Oh wait a sec. Can you look at my screen? Oh, oh my bad. I was reading the thing at the bottom. I thought he was talking to me. But yeah, I mean I could do that. It's just
I don't know. I'm trying to think about it in a different way because I was thinking that way. I think that way pretty often too, and think about that's when my head gets really too far outside of Earth. And
yeah.
Wait,
Hmm?
is Darius back?
Yeah, I'm back.
I don't know.
Is Sane back? You see? Did you see the? Are you on your phone?
Wait, what'd you say?
I'm assuming.
Yeah, I am.
Yes. No. So are you on your phone?
Messages.
Can you see my messages
Let me see.
on the general? I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to disrupt, but
All right.
I need to have a separate conversation
Pretty
with him while
please,
y'all
my
have your
friend. Don't be
conversation.
Oh.
tripping.
Um,
But yeah, it's just I don't know, man. Also, I'm high. It's fucking hard to explain this shit high. It's just it's we are
no, I
not that
mean,
grand,
I,
you
I
know.
mean, I get it. I
And
just
I'm just like
uh like regardless if that's the case or not, I try to look at it like
mm-hmm.
um I'm still here and I'm still going to spend my time here, and um I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. And despite all that stuff, there's still shit that I want to do and a type of life that I want to live, and I want to work towards that. And I feel like I understand what you're saying about the uh how much is stacked against you basically, and all these dumbass rules and all that. But I mean, you're a um I want to say that you're a good version of a person, and a lot of the stuff wasn't meant for someone like you. And the people who make those kind of rules, uh they make it in mass because some motherfucker along the way, you know, fucked it up basically. And the rules have to apply to everybody now, but the rules don't actually apply to everybody, and there are ways around that. And
Yeah,
those are the ways that I'm looking for. So I can say fuck these stupid rules because they're fucking stupid.
I get you.
And I don't want to waste my time trying to, you know,
Yeah,
persuade anybody uh to go through some official means to do stuff because as much as I complain about people uh, finding loopholes in the rules and shit, really I'm just complaining because they found it and not me. But you can use those things too. Things that they use to keep their advantage, you can use them to better your advantage.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like some of that shit, like I don't
No,
want to be a
that's not what I mean.
scumbag. At the
I mean
same
that
time,
if you look at
or
because you mentioned
go against my morals, you know.
drugs and stuff too, and the thing about the war on drugs is that
Yeah,
of that a lot of that targeting and policing happens in the poor neighborhoods, but a lot of rich motherfuckers do that shit too, whether it's legal or illegal, but there is nowhere
hmm
near as many arrests and shit. So it
yeah,
can be done, and I just have to put myself in a position where I can say fuck you to the rules, basically. Even
I
moral
get you.
rules get like overridden by the right motherfucker. Because Trump is president,
Yeah,
and all the dumbass rules that
yeah,
they said you supposed to follow, this nigga did not follow them hoes and easily won.
yeah. So, yeah,
Hmm.
that's the world we live in.
But I mean, I guess I'm one because I was in that point and I was looking at stuff like that too. It's just you know, like I said before, I want to win. You know, and you're the type of
I
person
get
that
you.
I feel like you could win if you wanted to.
Yeah, just like I said, man. There's no. It's just a rock spinning around in an empty space to
Yeah.
me.
You probably spend too much time alone, too.
It's crazy, but I mean, yeah, but I don't know. Like nowadays, I can't fuck being around people stresses me the fuck out. Not all the time, but the the only time it don't is probably if I didn't smoke the lip. But like it's hard to go smoke, go and be out. And like if it was legal, I probably would have an easier time of it.
That's why y'all got to go out
But
together. Gotta have a boys' night out. Go hit town.
it's hard to smoke and be out, you know. If I could do that, like let's say if I lived in Colorado, then
Yeah, you can do it
maybe it
down there. I was
wouldn't be
doing it.
much of an issue. But
I do it out here. It's
oh
not
man,
legal out here.
nah, cause nah, dude, I don't know. I've had so many close calls where it's eh, like I was just about to do something that would have got my ass like in a cell, and I just got lucky, you know. I don't want to test my luck, and then like one thing, like I said, I will never do is go to like jail or prison. So it's like I don't want to put myself in a position where that's where I'm headed, because I feel like it'll be easy. So just I try to keep myself away from that shit, but I don't know,
You don't
bro. I
hit the
just take
vapes.
it shit one day at a time.
I
Nah,
mean,
I stopped
my
doing
little
that too.
thing is like, it fits in my hand and stuff. I can hit this hole without people even noticing. Be out here doing it. Actually, our neighbors were doing it too. Like we just smelled it every time that they did it and heard the coughs and all that. You know, I don't think people. Well, I guess
That's
I don't know
funny.
down there,
Yeah.
but I didn't. I never felt like people were paying that much attention to what I might be doing. not in that area. I didn't feel like that until I went to Heiko, that small town. You know, like being one of the few black people
Mm,
around and one of the few new people around as well. It's like that's when I felt like, okay, I better be careful here. But
yeah.
over there in that area, uh, I mean, I've been at the Halloween thing that they had downtown and all that, and people were just doing it openly there with the cops around. Like those people just weren't caring like that. I mean, that's what surprised me, but
Wow.
motherfuckers are just going around doing that shit in the mall. Not giving a fuck. I think it's I don't know. I think sometimes it depends, but I think the the think public opinion about it is turning the opposite way on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, some should have been done already. At least to not be throwing people in
I mean, even Trump knew
jail,
not to go near
prison for it.
the weed thing. You know, you just need to be loud and proud,
Yeah.
bro.
Shit, maybe. Yeah, that's another reason why I want to get the jujitsu thing. That'll probably be
Mm.
a like outlet. I'm sure.
I'm about to hop on this Call of Duty again. Do y'all want to end this thing?
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, I'm about to get
Yeah.
there and go
How
to
long has
bed.
it been? Like 3 hours?
Yeah, them two were going. They were doing the whole thing for a while
Yeah.
before I hopped
Wait,
in.
y'all were on for 3 hours?
Oh yeah. 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 Oh yeah.